And welcome to Flight Deck Live. I am Tim Capper, along with my host Cliffy D, and welcome to day one of Montreal Alouettes training camp from here in Saint Jerome, Quebec, over at Centre Sportif Claude Berrieux. It was great to be back on the field, wasn't it, buddy?
It absolutely is. And also, too, this is the season premiere, if you will, of Flight Deck Live.
It's true.
Very exciting. This means one thing and one thing only, folks. CFL football is back, including the return of the reigning, defending, undisputed Grey Cup champion Montreal Alouettes.
That's right. And it's, this is, even though it's the beginning of a new year, we just saw the release of the gorgeous rings, and we'll talk about that quite a bit on the podcast this Wednesday. But the rings that were given out to the team here, I mean, such a change in the actual hardware that they received from 2010, isn't it?
2010 is 13 years. A lot's happened in 13 years, including how Grey Cup rings look. And let me tell you, folks, if you have not seen these rings, go to our socials. You'll see all the beautiful pictures, and it's just such an amazing ring. It's just absolutely beautiful. The symbolism behind it is absolutely incredible. I mean, it's a work of art, Tim. I think that's the best way to describe this. It's a work of art.
It is. It was just absolutely stunning. We got to see a couple of the players this week. We actually had it with them. Man, the heft on those things, it's
that's a big piece of ice, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, quite a bit. And we're going into today, obviously, we're talking to a lot of the players, a lot of the coaches. It's the next chapter. 2024 is the next chapter for this Montreal Alouettes franchise, where it is, again, it's like last year, it is technically a brand new team. Even Coach Moss has updated the logo that they're using this year for the team itself with a little bit more symbolism and stuff like that. But it's funny, going into today's training camp, you really didn't know what to expect from the team. But I'll be honest with you, Cliff, if you have that keen eye, as we did today, there was a lot of things that we did notice when it came to the guys who were assigned to Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a filling out process for a lot of them. I mean, obviously, the guys who were on the team last year that helped win this Grey Cup, you know what to expect out of those guys. It's the new additions that you don't know what to expect out of. And seeing them get acclimated right away and just get into the drills right away, like you can't take too much away from that as well, because I know a lot of people are going to wonder how do they look so far. I'm like, well, it's day one. I mean, everybody looks good. Everybody's in good form. All that stuff is wonderful. But yes, there's still a ways to go. I mean, let's face it. Next 3 weeks are going to determine. They're going to tell the story of this football team in 2024. So I'm really excited. You get the impression, okay, it's now underway. Football is back, and to me, that's the most important thing. It's the most exciting thing of all is that football is back.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and coming obviously into a new location also this year over here in Saint Jerome, Quebec, which is just about 45 minutes outside of Montreal. It is a very nice locale. It really is. I mean, nothing against what we had over in Trois-Rivières for the past 3 years, but it's a little bit different when it comes to how everything is set up. But to be honest with you, you know what? As we've heard from a couple of the players already today, they love it. They love what they have to, where they're living and how they're, the facilities, etc. So you know what? Happy players. That's all we need.
That's true. It's kind of like the uniforms, right? Like look good, feel good, play good, kind of thing. Same idea with the training facilities. If you walk in here and you get the impression that you're in a professional environment, you're going to act as a professional. You're going to hold yourself accountable like a professional. And that's what we saw from these guys today so far. I mean, again, it's early. Like I said, day one. So, I mean, there's a lot could happen between now and the end of camp. But right away, the impressions we got from the players right away was that, yeah, this is a great facility. I feel good. I'm ready to go. And you saw that translate on the field already. And that's a thing that I was really impressed with was that these guys were ready to go like that.
If you were to look at anything that stood out to you the most today, I think you and I are probably thinking on the same wavelength here when we saw it today. What is one of the things that stood out to you the most, whether from the players or from the coaches, or how the coaches were getting their point across to the players today?
Oh yeah, Coach Greg Quick, he is suffering no fools. He typically doesn't suffer fools, but right away, like he was giving guys the business as far as you're slacking, and we will not accept that. This is not acceptable by any stretch. And you knew, right? Like I was ready to, right away, coach, no problem. Like I'm on the sidelines. I'm not doing anything. I'm not even participating in this drill, and I'm ready to do whatever the coach says. No problem. Like that was just that intensity, that that passion that he has, and you can see those guys, like, the players that were there, they're ready for it. Like
Yeah.
they knew that they had to get their act together, and sure enough, they got it together and performed the drills flawlessly.
And
And
and we can't really we can say what the drills are because it is camp. They were doing the kick blocking, the punt blocking uh, drills today. And it's very, it's how Coach Crick was actually trying to get it across to the players that when you're doing this, you need to do it one way and one way only. And the reason why is if you don't, you're going to cause a penalty. You're going to get a roughing the kicker. You're going to get the ball back, and we'll just leave what Coach Crick said after that out of the broadcast today because words.
yeah, it was not exactly PG-13. Let's leave it that way. But he got his point across. That's the important thing. And sure enough, the players responded, and that's what they want. The players want to be taught. They want to be coached, and that's the great thing too. Like this is where you get to see who who wants it the most.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else that stood out to you? I know there were some minor changes to the roster when it came to numbers that these guys are wearing. So you don't need as much of a different scorecard this year. I mean, you do need for the newer guys, obviously, but for the veterans themselves, there were a few changes when it came to these guys and the numbers that they were wearing on their brand new practice jerseys, by the way.
That's it. It's not. I guess when you win a Grey Cup championship, everything's new all over again. So, including yes, practice jerseys were brand spanking new. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, one of the biggest changes that we noticed was Davis Alexander, who last year was number 3, is now wearing number 10
Yep.
for a great reason, which we'll get into later on. But he looked absolutely outstanding today too. I mean, not that there's any surprise. I mean, we know what Davis Alexander has been able to do for this organization, and I'm very excited because it looks like he was given a lot of the second team reps. So I'm very
yes.
I'm very encouraged by that. Not to put down Caleb Evans or anything like that, but it just felt like they were wanting to see more out of Davis, like see what he's able to bring and contribute. So right off the hop, I mean, he's got that great zip on the ball. He's really got that spatial awareness that we've talked about with him, and the guy just get better with every single turn.
We're also remember we're talking about eagle eye. If you were to really pay attention today, you did notice just what the same things that you just did. Where who is being quarterback number 2? Who was our main guy? It was Walter Fletcher was playing with the ones up for running back today on the first day. Also, we had our CFL Rookie of the Year, Rich Stubblefield. He changed his number also, didn't he?
He sure did. Now he's rocking the number 2. Again, we'll get into why some of these guys did that onto the podcast, but he too. It's kind of funny. Like we were shocked because I mean, Rookie of the Year. As far as we're concerned, Rookie of the Year. It's definitely Rookie of the Year for the Alouettes. But same thing with him. He won a championship. He's a Grey Cup champion now, but he too wanted to change his number, which kind of took us by surprise a little bit. But once he explained it, like makes total sense. So we're looking forward to that. And once again, we're expecting a lot out of Reggie this year. And put it this way: this time last year, we didn't know who he was.
No, we did not.
But he balled out, got cut the last day of camp. He's not getting cut this time. I think the Alouettes know what they have in this young man, and he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and speaking of another Reggie, nice to see Reggie White Jr. on the field again for the first time, really for the first time in a year and a half.
Mhm.
He was playing with the twos today, but I mean, again, it's kind of a redemption year, I think, for him coming back and showing that he is able to still play and be, one of those name wide receivers in the CFL.
Yeah, I think not being able to play at all last year definitely had to weigh on his mind quite a bit. So I think the pressure's on him. He's putting a lot of pressure on himself to perform in this camp because he wants to prove that he does belong. Yes, he does have a Grey Cup ring, but I'm wondering if he really feels like he can call himself a Grey Cup champion. I mean, yeah, you got the ring and you're part of the organization, so yes, you are considered a Grey Cup champion. But at the same time, you didn't contribute, and I'm pretty sure that's got to be weighing on his mind a little bit. So I believe the eagerness for him to get out on the field and show what he can do, that he's recovered from that knee injury and that he's ready to contribute and be a member of this organization again.
It's funny you say that because when I was talking to Walter Fletcher post practice, he was almost of the same mindset. Even though he wasn't hurt last year, obviously as we know, he didn't start quite a few games last year because of incumbent William Stanback. He kind of had the same thoughts also. He wanted to be able to prove that he can earn a Grey Cup ring, to be able to show that he is able to do more for the team leading up to a possible championship in 2024. So
Yeah, I mean, as you talked about, William Stanback was the RB1 last year. Jeshua Antwi was basically number 2, and then when Fletcher was able to get into the game, he played outstanding, but didn't get as many opportunities as he would have liked. Now he has got the chance to become the top running back for this Alouettes football team. But you got Jeshua Antwi, you got Sean Thomas Erlington, you've got a couple of young running backs that, to me, look pretty solid out there. So I mean, it's going to be a competition, kind of like how last year the wide receiver position was wide open with the departure of Geno Lewis, and look who stepped up: Austin Mack, Tyler Snead, and guys like that. I think it's going to be the same thing this year, and that's one thing I'm going to be looking at this year with when it comes to the running back position is who's going to step up, who's going to be joining Fletcher and Antwi as part of this running back core for the Alouettes.
It's going to be, obviously, we're at day one only. We're only at day one, and it was just interesting to see what the team was able to do from just on, from starting today. So we are going to be here a few more days this week here at camp in St. Jerome. So stay tuned for all of our socials and any reporting that we may do from here at Alouettes training camp here. So it's I'm just glad to be back, to whether it be in Toyville or whether it be here in St. Jerome. I'm just happy to see the Alouettes are back on the field.
Absolutely, it's so great. Like, to me, that's what it's about. Is this as great as the off season can be for some people? We were chomping at the bit for today. We were looking forward to today for a long time. And now that we've been here, now that we've seen these guys in action, now we see what's to come. You can't help but get excited. You can't help but be hyped for what's to come this over the next couple of weeks. So again, make sure you're following us all on social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Even if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you're liking, subscribing, leave some comments as well. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you doing so. Let us know what we're doing good, what we're not doing so good, and stay tuned. That's the only thing I can tell you right now is stay tuned. Make sure you're following, make sure you're subscribed, however it is that you're participating with us. Make sure you're ready, because when we go live, we want you to be a part of this.
Exactly. So once again, stay tuned for everything. Day one's in the books here in St. Jerome for the Montreal Alouettes. As you know, the road has begun to Grey Cup 111. So for everybody here at the for Flightdeck Live in St. Jerome, with Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. Talk to you soon.